Okay, it's episode 7. We are back once again. JV is here. Dogon is here, like always. Interesting. We want to talk about something going on with sports. We want to do this Tom Brady thing. Um, Tom Brady and our one of our favorite people, Odell Beckham,
Right.
OBJ,
Right.
they in the news because Odell Beckham went on his IG to try and point out what is apparently a double standard in the way certain actions on the sidelines during football games are perceived by people, and how Brady's actions and tantrums on the sideline are perceived as passionate, while OBJ is just being a hot-headed nuisance. Um, I don't know what to make of that. So what do you make of that?
I mean, it's just more when we're dealing with Tom Brady. Tom Brady's he's a godfather in the NFL. He's the golden. I mean, if they wrote a script for the type of prototypical quarterback that they wanted, I mean, the story checks out. He was the underdog. Come and take Drew Bledsoe's job. So he's got this hellified story that they just blew up. They couldn't afford to let this golden child go. So
Golden child.
every time the NFL has made rules on the field rules just to compensate for Tom Brady. They did the same thing for Manning too, but we saw a lot of rules coming in for Brady stuff. I mean, that whole Tuck thing was just ridiculous. But they had to come up with something. Go ahead.
Brady. Remember when Brady went down with the knee injury because he got low cut by, I don't remember who did it. That was the year that they instituted. All right, if you hit a quarterback low, you're done.
You're done.
Basically, you're done.
You're done.
That was all Brady.
That's like premeditated murder. They was like, no, suspended.
That was all Brady.
Suspended, fine. All Brady. You know what I mean? Other quarterbacks got knocked down, but when Tom Brady misses the season, the NFL takes a hit.
Yeah.
I don't know the metrics. I ain't got the numbers, but they make sure they protect their golden child. So whenever he does anything, you know what I'm saying, it's always looked at as the optimistic side of things. You know what I'm saying? It's always, hey, if he's on the sidelines cussing his coach out, oh, he's just passionate. He wants to win. He's the most competitive guy on the field. All right. So when Beckham does something, or Rasheed Wallace, anybody that has a name, you know what I'm saying, you are not allowed to display passion. Period.
Yeah.
And it's just they're both passionate, but it's just, who are you? And if you are a golden child, if you are a selected individual that the league personally make either rules for, or they give you the cheating call because it's you. If you're that guy, I mean, not to say that Beckham may not get his on the field calls, but it's just the thing where they've made him a bad boy. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
The only thing he does is dance.
Yeah. Yeah, that annoys me, but that has nothing to do with how I perceive him as a person or as a player.
Now, granted, he is one of the more dirtier receivers I've ever seen play. As far as contact and physicality, he's very physical, which is the reason why he always gets open. But the thing is, what Beckham is, his passion, he's not allowed to. And if you are on the NFL, NBA, or anybody's hit list, you are not allowed to be yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to always make sure that you're saying the politically correct thing. So Beckham, after so many years of having to watch what he's got to say, either through tweets or through anything, and to watch Brady just flat out, it's like the guy was sleeping with his wife. He was cussing at him so hard.
It was flagrant.
That guy was so belittled. Only thing he could do was walk away. And when he was getting fussed out, he was like, "Hey man, this is Brady. What are you gonna do?" Now if that was somebody else, you know what I'm saying, he probably would have got up in arms too. Hey man, who you think you're yelling at? But it's Brady, so he's got a lot of that. He's got a lot of cushion, a lot of leeway. He can get away with damn near anything. Hell, I mean, they were peeping through gates. You know, they're deflating the ball. There's so much going on around there. And it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's so much circulating around that organization. Now, the Cowboys had their dynasty years, but we didn't hear anything about that. You know what I'm saying? The Steelers had theirs. Nobody, nothing. No fuss.
Yeah.
But the Patriots, for the last decade, they've been going ham about being in the news, about doing things that aren't ethically correct.
Yeah.
And they're just out here just cheating.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, once we look at this this dynasty that is allowed to be a dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, I'm not taking nothing away from the technical aspect. They do what they need to do.
Yeah.
But this dynasty is allowed, and anything that gets thrown at this dynasty is just going to get, knocked away. Hey, it's not a big deal. You guys are looking too far into this.
Yeah.
Now, if the Bengals was doing this, if the Bengals was peeping through gates, if the Bengals was deflating the ball, and all of a sudden they winning games, we would say, hey, the Bengals are cheating.
Yeah.
But since the Patriots always win, and it's like, oh man, so what? They'll peeping through gates. They got Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So I mean, he throws 4 touchdowns a game.
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
Yeah.
So again, it's just the double standard. I don't think it's necessarily a race thing, but even though some people may try to play that card, but Tom Brady is a golden boy because of his race.
Mm-hmm.
This situation isn't because of his race.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he's a golden boy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not.
One came before the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not. This isn't a race thing.
Yeah.
This is a golden boy thing. This is a chosen man thing. And so he's allowed.
LeBron is a golden child of the NBA, and LeBron is black.
Right.
And what I'm saying is LeBron gets the same sort of double standard type of benefit that Brady gets. It's just by the merit of what he does and just the equity that he was able to build up. But I'm gonna attempt to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
You don't think resume plays a part in this at all?
As far as what?
As far as Tom Brady's achievements in the way these things are perceived today.
Yeah, but even as far as like his individual accolades, MVPs, Super Bowls, and all that
essentially
stuff,
the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I feel like that can play a part into the narrative of him being passionate.
Right. But what I'm saying is, and look, we Dolphins fans. So on top of every other reason why every other person who watches the NFL has to hate the Patriots, we have more incentive to hate them because we are in the division where they've been whooping our ass since we've been born.
Right.
So I have no reason to root for the Patriots or Tom Brady. Hell, I think that just like LeBron, he gets the benefit of the superstar double standard that is completely unreasonable. I watched him go to Buffalo and proceed to have a bad game in which he threw 4 interceptions. And they lost that game against the Bills. And I watched SportsCenter that night and listened to Sean Salisbury. Yeah, I listened to Sean Salisbury break down that game and critique to me why all 4 of those interceptions were not Tom Brady's fault.
They were receivers.
It was other things going on. Balls batted, receivers running bad routes, not running hard enough. None of it was 4 picks. None of them Brady's fault. Now, what I'm saying is, the reason why that's a superstar double standard not necessarily is because that isn't true, but it's because other quarterbacks don't get that.
Right.
And other quarterbacks have had 4 interception games, and those 4 picks are not their fault. But the rhetoric on that is it is their fault because they're the quarterback, so we just got to blame them. Brady just doesn't get that blame.
Right.
That has always rubbed me the wrong way. Now, having said that, he has 5 Super Bowls. So
he's got 5.
5, yeah. He has 5 Super Bowls. So I have kind of had to curtail.
I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, right. I've had to curtail the way I look at the Tom Brady thing and say, they have been cheating. They've been doing all of this suspect stuff. But can you cheat your way to 5 of them? 5? In a sport like the NFL, where we're looking on ESPN every day and they're talking about all of these teams who have chances and how the NFL has so much parity because it's 1 game a week, 16-game season, they're still there every year and they've won 5 Super Bowls in my lifetime. I don't see how you can cheat your way to that.
My thing is, when I say cheating, it's just an advantage.
Yeah.
And so if I'm playing, basketball with you and, I told you to tie your hand behind your back, and I beat you 5 out of 10 times, you know what I'm saying? Or 5 out of 6 times, 7 times. And then you go, oh, okay, but I had my hand behind my back.
Yeah.
But so my thing is, it's just an advantage that they've always been allowed to have.
It's
an allowing, in my opinion. Now, if the NFL, my whole thing is, when Barry Bonds was doing his thing and all that Balco stuff and all that, hey, there's asterisks next to these guys.
Yeah, there are.
Now, I'm sorry, but if deflating the ball gives an advantage to where you can't, you're not allowed to do it. but you're doing it, I'm sorry. Then you did get an extra touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. So if you got 32 passing touchdowns in a season, at least 20 of them. At least 20, not saying that you only threw 12 for the year, but at least 20 of them came when you was at home and your ball. Yeah, and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So my thing is with that is you can't cheat your way to 5 championships. You still got to win the game.
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't going to take that away. But when you're just running the gambit every week, you know what I'm saying? Because you got this advantage that nobody else knows you have. Hell, we only know about the peeking in the gate. We don't know what else they doing out there. And you know Belichick. You know he got a trick up his sleeve. So,
but you know how things work in hindsight. And when a guy, like after you've won 5 Super Bowls, no one's critiquing it in that way.
Yeah,
they're like, you're the guy. And I think that's what plays into the golden child thing. He has been able to build upon his status as the golden boy as he has continued to win more and more Super Bowls. He has more than Montana at this point. He used to be like, he ain't got as many as Montana. Now he has one more than him.
Right.
That kind of just adds into that. And even for me personally, when I see this kind of stuff like with the Odell Beckham thing, I have to find myself saying, or at least I have to resign to the fact that what can you do? Like at this point, he has earned the equity to get the benefit of that double standard. Now, notice that's me saying that there's a double standard that does exist. Now, let me just talk about Odell Beckham for a second. I think that it's easy for you to put something on your own IG to paint you in a certain picture and for you to make your point. And he made his point with that video. But there's nuance to this. And I'm sure he understands this. He seems like a smart kid. But there's a difference between what Brady does when he gets animated yelling at people and when Odell Beckham is crying on the sideline kicking nets with his helmet.
Yeah.
And then in the next game he's so emotionally driven. In the next game or a game or maybe 2 games later, he actually has a good game, so he feels different. So now he's proposing to the net on the sidelines. You just look like a buffoon. There's nuance in there that makes it different. I think that is the type of stuff that makes people look at Brady differently from Odell Beckham. And maybe we're talking about a cultural divide where there's just a perception of how different types of people based on their backgrounds and just the way they go about business do things, and the majority of the NFL audience is of a certain kind of cultural background, and so therefore they're going to look at Brady's tantrums differently than Odell Beckham's. Nevertheless, there are nuances that make it different, and so I think with Odell Beckham, come more correct. Like he could have done a better job to try and point out how there's a double standard, because in the examples that he used, while they are the same, it's easy for me to poke holes in his argument because I feel like I can just say, bro, Brady's not on the sideline kicking nets with his helmet. People are just gonna look at it that way, right or wrong, fair or unfair. That's just how that is. But that was basically it. It's weird that I'm in this position where I'm pseudo defending Brady, but I can't really defend 5 championships. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I say it like this. Tom Brady, the only time he wins to me in my book is when I'm out there watching him play, which is damn near every week. But when I'm watching him play and he's in the game, and he's in the game more than the next guy is. And I'm sorry, he is involved.
Yeah,
he's involved in the game, and I'll give him that. I'm not hating on him, his athletic ability or his ability to throw.
You're not really even hating on him. It's just the cloud that's created around him.
It's the golden. I hate golden boy stuff.
Yeah.
I just can't stand it. It's not fair to the sport.
Yeah.
And I like to watch everybody out there do their thing, and everybody judged accordingly. And one thing about it is once they got them something where they can milk it, they're gonna take it and they're gonna run with it. And they make you tired of these people. Honestly, Brady don't talk on the camera too much.
Nah.
He don't say too many things that gets me pissed off. I just don't like the aura around him, and then I don't like what he says.
Yeah, he does the typical quarterback robot garbage.
Yeah,
he does.
But in any event, I'm not I know where Beckham was coming from, but it the delivery could have been stronger to make his point. But he was just on his phone.
Yeah,
he was just on his phone.
It was well edited. Like these new dudes, man, they are Instagram kings.
Yeah.
That video was spliced up real well.
Oh yeah.
Real well, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. There is a double standard, but I think resume plays a role in it. But I agree with you about that aura thing. I think that you feel about Brady the way I feel about LeBron. Because I don't even dislike LeBron. I dislike the media narrative of LeBron and how he.
Sickening.
Yeah, I can't stand it, and so as a result, it creates an environment in which I am criticizing him, but really I'm criticizing ESPN,
right?
Because he goes out there and just gets the benefit of superstar double standards, and in losing in the finals, we're told he didn't have help when. Another guy will do the exact same thing and lose in the finals, and we're told that he's a bum, and that's a stain on his resume. But whatever.
You can lose more finals than you won, but you still the man.
Yeah, because you're 28, 8, and 9 guy. You know?
And you've been to 8 finals
in a row, yeah. And you were saved by Ray Allen and Kyrie for 2 of those championships. But that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, that's what we got, man. Tom Brady, Odell Beckham. Is it a double standard? Yeah, but OBJ could have came a little more correct, and to the golden boy Tom Brady, I don't even care anymore. He can get a 6th Super Bowl for all I care. I've let that go.
I bet. That's why I was like 5.
Yeah.
Oh, I rolled it off.
Yeah.
They're going again. Who's gonna stop them? It's gonna be them and the Eagles or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Nobody gonna stop them.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap that one up. As always, consciousapproach.com, YouTube, Conscious Approach, Blue Brain, Shaking Hands, that's us. Dogon _SS on IG, JV Wins on IG. Look us up, check us out. Support logical content, and we will holler at you next time.